This video addresses problem number 2 from chapter 13. And as usual, I've made up some numbers so they don't perfectly match the values that you'll see for your problem, but the process that you'll follow will be identical to this one. Basically, they give us some information from a company's balance sheet and income statement and just some information from the stock market about the company. So its assets total $15 million. It has $8.5 million worth of debt. It's generating an income of $900,000. It paid in total $329,000 in dividends to that shouldn't be a dollar amount, it should just be 1 million different shares of stock outstanding. And it also paid dividends to preferred stockholders of $585,000. And the company's stock price on the market ended the year at $18.49. So they want us to calculate 4 different values. The first is the book value per share. To calculate the book value per share, you would take the assets, subtract the liabilities, spell it right, and that will give you the total book value of equity. If you take that amount and you divide by the number of shares of common stock, that will give you your book value per share. So I am going to do that in a single equation, but actually I'll put it so that you can see the equation that I'm typing when I press enter. So I need to do the assets of 15 million at my equal sign. So I need my assets. Oh, I'll get it right in a minute. I need my assets of 15 million. Subtract my liabilities of 8.5 million. That gives me my book value of equity. And I want it to do that first, so I'm going to put parentheses around it. So I wanted it to do that subtraction, obtain a number, and once it gets that number, divide by the number of shares, which is 1 million. And now if I put an apostrophe right there, you can see the cells I've actually referenced. And I'll just crunch it one more time to get the actual number up here, because we need that number in a minute to do something else. So the answer is, in this particular case, $6.50 a share. They want us also to calculate the earnings per share. To do that, you take the net income, and I'm assuming this is prior to subtracting dividends for preferred stockholders. So I would subtract preferred stock dividends, and once I have that number, I would divide by number of common shares. So technically I need to put parentheses around these values, because I would do this numerator first, do that subtraction first, and after I get that answer, I divide by the number of shares. So I would calculate net, or just access link to net income minus the preferred stock dividends, put my parentheses around that, so it will do that calculation first, and then divide by the number of shares of 1 million. And I'm just going to put my little parentheses in front of that so you can see the equation, and I'll do it one more time. So net income minus preferred stock dividends divided by common stock number of shares. And it's basically 32 cents a share. They also want us to calculate the dividend yield. The formula for that is to take the dividend per share and divide by the current stock price. They did not give me the dividend per share. They told me the total cash essentially that the company paid to all their stockholders, $329,000. So I need to convert that to a per share basis. So that would be this 329,000 in total dividends that they paid, divided by the million shares that they have out. So essentially they paid 32 cents, 33 cents per share in dividends. Now that I have that number, I can divide it by the current stock price. And this is a percentage figure. So their dividend yield is 1.78%. And again, I'll put the quote so you can see how I got that. Total dividends divided by the number of shares to get their dividend per share, which is what I actually need in the numerator, and then divide by the current stock price of $18.49 and just convert it to a percentage. And then finally they wanted the market to book ratio. That's actually the easiest one to do of all of them. I take the current market price or current stock price and I divide it by the book value per share, which we actually calculated in part A. So my book value per share is this $6.50. So I would take the current market price of $18.49 and divide that by the book value per share of $6.50 to get 2.84. So again, there's my formula, and the current stock price divided by the book value per share gives me the answer.